Authorities in Jasper County investigate reports of gunfire outside a grocery store. State health officials label parts of southwest Missouri as COVID-19 hotspots. A Miami family finally has a place to call home a year after a fire destroyed their house. You'll learn how the community helped make it happen.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks so much for joining us this evening. I am Mike Mahoney. As Southwest Missouri sees an increase in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations, more people have decided to get vaccinations. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more on why health experts all over the Show Me State are seeing an increased interest in the shot.
Southwest Missouri is dealing with its worst COVID-19 case surge since last winter. The rise of new variants and increase of younger populations being hospitalized are some reasons those who were hesitant to get vaccinated are choosing now to do so. Just a few weeks ago, Prater's Pharmacy in Webb City barely saw anyone come in for a shot.
A few weeks back, we saw, it was dwindling down to almost no vaccines daily. We had, in the past done a whole bunch. We were doing, 20 to 30 a day, and then it dropped off to almost zero. And then in the past couple of weeks, we've had a huge increase.
This increase has led to more vaccine clinics, like one held on Thursday at James River Church in Joplin.
Earlier this week, we did a clinic at each one of the Springfield locations, and it was just logical for us to come on down here to Joplin to take care of the 4th campus.
The church is partnering with the Jordan Valley Community Health Center to get more vaccines out into Southwest Missouri. They say churches were the perfect spot as they're usually empty during the week.
We just have to continue to keep getting the word out. Hopefully we'll continue to go to churches like James River and offer these clinics. There are vulnerable populations all over the southwestern part of the state.
With mobile clinics like this one, they're able to reach more who otherwise may not have gotten vaccinated.
Well, I'd been pretty nervous about getting my shot up to this point.
Katie Rattles, a Joplin school teacher, had COVID back in January and developed neurological symptoms in March. Because of this, she worried how her body would react to the vaccine. But with local cases surging and the school year approaching, she decided to get her shot.
I'm going to be working at the middle school this year, and I'm going to have a lot more students. I just feel like it's really important for me to do my part to stay safe and keep the kiddos safe.
The Community Health Center says they hope by getting more vaccines out, Missouri can see an end to COVID-related hospitalizations and deaths. In Joplin and Webb City, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Southeast Kansas is also seeing rising cases of COVID-19, including cases of the Delta variant. Statewide, Kansas recently saw its highest 7-day average of new cases since March. That's around 350 cases per day. We spoke with the Wilson County Health Officer, who also practices family medicine, to learn about what she's seeing.
So it may take 5, 6, sometimes 8, 9 hours to get somebody transferred. And then, like, for example, one person we transferred just this week, we were told that we took the last ICU bed at that hospital. And that's a scary thing, because if we can't transfer out our most severe patients when we have no ICU beds in a hospital, a small hospital like mine, what do we do? How do we help them? And how are we able to care for these patients if we don't have those beds?
Dr. McKinney also tells us the cases involving vaccinated people are less severe than those who are unvaccinated. All right, it is time for a look at your first weather, and here is Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty. Doug.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, we've been dealing with showers, thunderstorms across the region, mainly in our northern counties, but these have been ongoing for the past several hours and are slowly creeping off toward the south and to the east. So majority of the viewing area has not seen rain yet, but everybody will get rain during the overnight hours tonight. Some of these storms are on the strong side. We could get a few random severe thunderstorm warnings. A big cluster here really stretching from Fredonia, Chanute, Erie, up toward Iola, and these are producing winds 45 to 50 miles per hour. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, some very heavy amounts of rain. Everybody's going to get very heavy amounts of rain for us tonight. Of course, we're going to break this down for you here in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Doug. As always, Jasper County authorities are searching for 2 suspects in connection with a shooting in the village of Airport Drive. This is a developing story. The Sheriff Department says witnesses reported hearing gunshots in the parking lot of Harp's grocery store around 1:35 this afternoon. Investigators say they found evidence in the parking lot of a possible shooting, including evidence of, quote, possible injuries. Authorities say they have located the victims, a 22-year-old Webb City woman and a 33-year-old man from California. They're both in the hospital with what police are calling non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office released a description of the possible suspects. They say the driver was a black man driving a dark red Kia SUV. His passenger, another suspect, is a black man with 4 braids in his hair and neck tattoos. Pittsburgh police arrest a robbery suspect. Authorities say last Thursday, 23-year-old Aaron Beard of Liberal, Missouri, showed a gun to a clerk at the Snack Attack convenience store and stole merchandise. Then the next day, police say Beard robbed someone at gunpoint in a room at the Regency Inn and Suites. And then yesterday, officers responded to calls of suspicious activity at the La Quinta Inn and Suites. When they arrived, they found Beard and they arrested him. A portion of highway in Newton County, Missouri now bears the name of a heroic firefighter. State Highway 43 between State Highway U and State Highway C will be known as Firefighter Tyler H. Casey Memorial Highway. Casey's family was with Missouri Governor Mike Parson when he signed the designation into law. Casey is credited with saving lives when a tornado moved through that area in May of 2008. He was a volunteer firefighter with the Seneca Area Fire Protection District, assigned to a post near the intersection of Highway 43 and Iris Road to help with storm spotting. He left his vehicle to alert a family parked on the side of the road. The family managed to escape, but Casey was struck by the tornado and died 2 days later. Casey is credited with saving the lives of at least 3 people. Missouri Governor Mike Parson has signed legislation for greater oversight of unlicensed residential facilities that care for children. The measure comes after allegations of long-running abuse at some Missouri boarding schools. In March, Attorney General Eric Schmidt filed more than 100 criminal charges against the owners of the former Circle Hope Girls Ranch in Cedar County. They have pleaded not guilty while awaiting trial. The legislation would require such facilities like that to notify the state of their existence and undergo background checks for the personnel. In May of 2020, a fire destroyed the Miami home of the Carson family. Unable to rebuild, they lived with family until their more distant family came to the rescue. And now they are proud new homeowners. KOAM's Dow Quick has more.
It's been a long road for the Carson family.
Keep them squeezed tight. Come here.
More than a year since a fire destroyed their Miami home.
This way. Turn this way.
A big moment spurred by a loving community has them feeling like they're back on the right track.
Look! It's a new house!
After the fire, the Carsons didn't know what was next. But that didn't last long and took just one Facebook post.
And within 5 minutes, the kids had clothes.
Before friends, family, and even some strangers rallied around them, ready to help.
And then the next day, people were just driving by when we were cleaning up the house and stuff. People were just driving by, handing him money. And
Casey's family also stepped up in a big way.
Especially my aunt and my uncle. They kind of let us move in. They didn't really charge us anything.
But the Carsons, a family of 5, wanted a place to call their own.
it was very stressful. It was hard, and they slept on the floor in the back.
Yeah, the floor was uncomfortable.
They used donations and a year of savings to get to this point.
This is the one we looked at! Yes, this is our new home, guys!
With new beds.
These are benches.
And new plans.
I want to change a lost rainbow with unicorns on them.
And a new future.
Having our own space is definitely nice. It's good to finally go home.
Future doctors who will serve our region's medical needs are taking care of some other community service projects first. KCU is hosting its We Care Day. During the first week of orientation at the medical school, student doctors team up with area nonprofits to give back by completing a variety of service projects.
We Care Day is held by the Kansas City University College of Osteopathic Medicine, and it is where different groups of incoming students go around campus and we find different ways to serve our entire community.
Today, student doctors lent a hand walking and bathing dogs and cuddling puppies at the Joplin Humane Society. That doesn't sound like work to me. That sounds like a good time. Kids in Jasper County showed off their livestock raising skills today at the Jasper County Youth Fair. Today's events at the fair included steer and sheep shows, a pedal tractor pull, and a watermelon feed sponsored by the Southwest Missouri Bank.
So so they put weights on it and you try to get as far as you can go, and whoever goes goes the most, they win.
The youth fair continues tomorrow with more livestock judging, a tug-of-war contest, and a barbecue dinner. It is now time for us to honor one of our many four-state heroes, and tonight we recognize Travis Moore of Alba, Missouri. Moore served as a senior airman in the U.S. Air Force, and he fought in Operation Iraqi Freedom. He earned an Air Force Achievement Medal and many other honors. Thank you, sir, for your service and your courage and for fighting for freedom. For more information on any of our four-state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be right back with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty. He has got another look at your weather. Plus, we are heading downtown to downtown Joplin and checking out the sights and sound of July's third Thursday. That is coming up right after weather. President Biden has shown no signs of backing down from the trade war with China despite some pressure to come to an agreement with Beijing, which could lower inflation. Fox News' Steve Rappaport takes a look.
President Biden has reversed a lot of Trump-era policies, but there's at least one area where he agrees with his predecessor, China, and it's having a big impact on America's bottom line. President Trump started a trade war with Beijing 3 years ago, imposing tariffs that raised prices on consumer goods while cutting profits for American manufacturers and farmers. The business community now wants those tariffs lifted, with some experts saying it could help relieve the inflation pressure currently keeping markets down, and also make things like food and electronics more affordable.
This is a tax on every single American. It doesn't matter what product you're buying, it costs you more money.
But the tension with China has grown beyond trade. Human rights issues are now dominating the debate. The State Department warning American corporations not to do business with companies in the Xinjiang region, where the U.S. says rampant human rights violations are taking place. The White House is also cracking down on Chinese apps like TikTok and adding more Chinese businesses to a U.S. investment blacklist. Economists say boycotting Beijing won't work because of America's dependence on Chinese supply chains, and China is pushing back, blaming the U.S. for the rise in inflation.
We do not bully and impose sanctions at every turn, nor do we exercise long-arm jurisdiction against other countries' enterprises. So why are we blamed?
The White House is also considering a new digital trade agreement for the Pacific region to counter China's economic influence there. In New York, Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
The national average for a gallon of gas is expected to rise another 5 to 10 cents before the end of the month. But some small relief might be just around the corner. According to the head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, he says gasoline demand has likely peaked and that the global price of oil is dropping as producers compromise on production levels. But the ongoing hurricane season could complicate things. When we return, millions of American parents had more money in the bank today thanks to an expanded child tax credit. But critics say there will be negative consequences.
A heated debate on Capitol Hill about expanded child tax credits being delivered to families. I'm Madla Rivera in Washington with more on that, plus what top lawmakers have to say about a new budget proposal coming up.
Millions of parents woke up to more money in their bank accounts today as the IRS sent out the first monthly payments tied to the expanded child tax credit. But Republican critics say the payments could lead to some negative consequences. Fox News' Madeline Rivera has the latest.
To quote our dear friend, former Senator and current President Joe Biden, this is a big effing deal.
Many Democrats are calling the expanded child tax credit transformational, saying the monthly benefit will lift millions out of poverty for generations to come.
I think this will be one of the things that the Vice President and I will be most proud of when our terms are up.
Until December, eligible families will get payments of up to $300 for each child under age 6 and up to $250 for each child ages 6 to 17. But critics say the benefit is also costly. For the first round of payments, the Treasury Department says roughly $15 billion were sent to families that include about 60 million children.
So let's just be honest about what we're talking about here. Yes, American families are going to wake up with some cash in their pockets this morning. They're also going to wake up with a debt bill that is now accelerating.
The program comes days after Senate Democrats unveiled a $3.5 trillion budget blueprint.
I hope some of them will sober up and understand the spending and taxing spree needs to stop.
Some Republicans also say more direct payments will discourage people from working. Still, others say it's too early to tell whether the expanded child tax credit will have that effect.
Time will definitely tell whether or not people are
make it a point to not come out to the workforce.
The payments are set to end in December, but there are ongoing talks on Capitol Hill to extend or even make the expanded credit permanent. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Six-time NBA champion Scottie Pippen is opening his home up to guests. The two-time Olympic gold medalist has listed his Chicagoland home on Airbnb. He's offering lucky superfans the opportunity to live like a champion during the Olympic Games. As a first-time host on Airbnb, Scottie's pulling out all the stops for his guests, including a virtual meet and greet, as well as the opportunity to channel one's inner athlete on his indoor basketball court. Bookings open next Thursday, and according to the Chicago Tribune, Scottie is charging $92 a night, which is a reference to the gold medal he won in Barcelona in 1992. All right after the break, we are taking a trip down to Texas, and we will be learning about a mom who gave birth to a child in a gas station bathroom stall. You'll learn how the mother and the child are doing when we return. Welcome back to your News at 9. A Texas newborn will have quite a story to tell someday after he was born in a Fort Bend County gas station. Caitlin Fullerton says she was heading home from Houston to Victoria when she told her husband she needed a bathroom break. But once she got inside the bathroom stall, she knew the day was about to take a dramatic turn. She says she felt the need to push and prayed that her baby would not be born in a gas station, but that is exactly what happened. The parents say despite their wild adventure, they are grateful to have their new addition, Callahan. Both mom and baby were released from the hospital Wednesday and are healthy at home. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more news headed your way, as well as another look at your weather with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy and your KOAM Sports Report with Danny Terzer. That's all coming up right here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
A wild last-minute twist, the sentencing put on hold for the man convicted of killing Molly Tibbetts as an inmate comes forward, claiming he's the one who murdered her. I'm Matt Finn in Chicago.
There's a new twist in the Molly Tibbetts murder case. On the day her convicted killer was supposed to be sentenced, an Iowa judge heard new evidence that the defense lawyers say reveals Molly's real killer. Fox News' Matt Finn breaks down what happened.
Christian Bahena Rivera, the man found guilty in the killing of the University of Iowa student Molly Tibbetts, was back in court Thursday. A judge now considering possible new evidence in the case. This comes a day after Rivera's sentencing was put on hold in light of exculpatory evidence. Rivera's defense is trying to get a new trial and compel prosecutors to turn over evidence, including two witnesses who say a man named Gavin Jones is Tibbetts' actual killer, allegedly confessing to his ex-girlfriend and another inmate while he was behind bars.
Gavin Jones admitted to Arnie Mackey that he and another gentleman were the killers of Molly Tibbetts.
Rivera's attorneys also say this new information links Tibbetts' abduction to a possible sex trafficking ring.
There's something rotten in this area.
Prosecutors say they are under no obligation to locate the proposed evidence.
There is nothing in the rules, nothing in the case law that compels the state to chase its tail because they're asking us to do it.
Tibbetts disappeared in 2018 when she went for her nightly run in Brooklyn, Iowa. After weeks of searching for the 20-year-old, Rivera led police to her body. In May, Rivera, an illegal immigrant, was convicted of first-degree murder, which carries a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. The judge in this case says he'll make a written decision by the end of this week regarding whether these new confessions are admissible, and there's also a July 27th hearing about a possible new trial. In Chicago, Matt Finn, Fox News.
A scathing new report blames the FBI for mistakes and delays in investigating sexual abuse allegations against former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. The Justice Department found FBI agents learned of the allegations in 2015 but waited more than a year before opening an investigation. During that time, Nassar abused dozens of gymnasts. Nassar is currently serving what amounts to a lifetime in prison. Video played in court Wednesday shows the accused Parkland school shooter fighting with a jail guard. The video was played during Nicholas Cruz's first court appearance since the start of the pandemic. Cruz wrestles the guard to the ground before the guard is able to overcome and subdue him. The incident happened in November of 2018, 9 months after the Parkland shooting. Cruz is being tried for this incident separate from the murders that happened at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. TSA officials say the number of guns being found at the airport checkpoints is on the rise. 3 separate incidents happened recently at Reagan National Airport, with 3 people being stopped while trying to bring loaded weapons through security in their carry-on luggage. Fox News' Lauren DeMarco takes a look.
The numbers are just astounding. The TSA director here says that there is an epidemic of guns turning up at Reagan National Airport, and it's happening at other airports across the nation as well.
That's very alarming. With all the security that they have, I don't know how that's possible.
In a matter of hours on this Wednesday at DCA, officers caught a Fredericksburg woman with a loaded handgun and magazine, a Florida man with a loaded handgun, 2 magazines with 45 bullets and a knife, and a Wisconsin man carrying a 9mm loaded with 5 bullets and 1 in the chamber. 3 unrelated passengers, all with deadly weapons in their carry-ons.
It is another disturbing trend that a lot of passengers aren't obeying the rules and are having conflict with the flight attendants and such.
According to the TSA, even though 500 million fewer people were flying in 2020 due to the pandemic, nationwide, officers caught more than 3,000 firearms. That is double the number from 2019. And here at Reagan, so far this year, which we're only halfway into, the number of guns confiscated has already surpassed totals for pre-pandemic years.
Good to hear that it was caught, right? As opposed to 3 guns slipping by. At least in this case, the 3 guns were stopped and noticed by security, so that is somewhat comforting.
Travel expert Troy Petenbrigg points out that unfortunately what's not comforting is how many weapons may pass through undetected. In 2017, undercover Homeland Security investigators tried to sneak mock guns and explosives past TSA, and they were reportedly successful around 3/4 of the time.
We also know that, unfortunately, TSA has a history, though, of being understaffed and underfunded. This is an indication during this time that maybe we need some more funding, some more oversight.
Some people have said they forgot they had their gun on them. Keep in mind, even if you have a concealed carry permit, you're looking at thousands of dollars in fines because that does not permit you to bring a firearm into the cabin of a plane. Officials say the only way that you can travel with a legal gun is if it's unloaded, properly checked, stored in a locked case, and declared with the airline. Back to you.
We'll be right back with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty and another look at your weather. Plus,
wildfires continue to rage in the western U.S. I'm Dan Springer in Seattle. That story coming up.
Showers, thunderstorms increasing over the past couple hours. We're all going to get some heavy amounts of rain as we work through the night. A lot of areas you won't get anything until after midnight, but it's going to be a pretty loud night across the region. That's why we got flash flood watches in effect most of the region except our far eastern counties due to heavy amounts of rain that we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours. It's been raining quite a bit from Stockton, Lake, Nevada, Lamar, just north of Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, over towards Chanute, Iola, Yates Center, Fredonia, Neodesha, Erie. Those are the areas that have had rain. Most of the metro has been dry. It's going to stay dry for the next couple hours, and then things will really start to pick up. Pretty good little cluster near Lamar, and then a nice little cluster of storms. These are strong, not severe, but strong. Just to the west of Fort Scott, you can see all the thunder, all the lightning within these storms has been working through Erie and then is about ready to move into Parsons. But we could get some random severe thunderstorm warnings, so that's something we want to definitely watch for. But these are mainly just going to be really heavy rain makers. They're going to be loud, but right on the doorstep of Girard, Pittsburgh, these are slow movers, so Pittsburgh, you're still probably 30, maybe 35 minutes away. Parsons, you're about ready to get hit from this cluster of storms. But look how they continue to develop all the way back toward Wichita. So all this is going to just kind of come together and then dive southeast, right through the region as we go through the overnight hours tonight. So heavy amounts of rain, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Here's midnight, really picks up after midnight as well, and then this cluster just kind of dives through. So here's early in the morning. Here's 6:30 in the morning. If you are getting up early, it's going to be raining across the area, and then these continue to dive south. So here's about 9 o'clock in the morning. After we get past 9 or 10, 11 o'clock, most of the region will dry out. but then we'll still get some isolated thunderstorms by the time we head into the afternoon hours. Looks okay right now, at least at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Much of the same, 7th and Range Line. Not seeing anything right now. 79 degrees, feels like 82. Humidity is at 79%. The problem is we're going to have chances for showers and thunderstorms over the next several days due to this front. You can see kind of the wind shift line with this band of storms, and it's really going to kind of hang out near us over the next few days, so we're going to have these chances. But I think this is by far our biggest batch that we are going to see. All right, showers, thunderstorms starting to taper off late morning. Even by the afternoon hours, we're going to have some pop-up isolated storms, but we won't get a big batch that is going to work through kind of like what we are seeing tonight. Here's your day planner. We're going to start at 70, 80 by noon, high temp right around 85 degrees by the time we head into the afternoon hours. Also with the flash flood threat, a lot of areas are going to pick up 2, 3, maybe even 4 inches of rain. So we're going to have some flash flooding issues across the region. All right, 85 tomorrow, 89 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. We kind of hold into the mid-80s most of next week.
All right, Doug, thanks as always. And I bet our friends on the West Coast wouldn't mind some of those rains we've got coming up. That's because wildfires continue to rage in about a dozen states. This comes as the western U.S. prepares for yet another heat wave. Fox News' Dan Springer has more.
Dozens of wildfires continue to scorch the western U.S., burning more than 1 million acres. The region's 4th heat wave, set to strike this weekend, threatens to further fuel the flames.
We're also dealing with a compounding drought, and that really just dries things out.
On Wednesday, Oregon deployed the state's National Guard to fight the bootleg fire. That blaze is the largest in the U.S. and threatens thousands of homes. Tim and Dee McCarley recalled seeing trees explode as they evacuated from their home last week. They later returned to find the fire came within 5 feet of their house, but left it standing.
I swear to you, it was like a circle around the house, a perfect circle, and it saved our water, our solar, and the house, untouched. Even the wires on the solar, untouched.
While in Northern California, crews are working to control the Dixie Fire, burning near the site of the state's deadliest blaze in 2018. Officials say the flames are burning away from populated areas. Firefighters are taking an aerial approach to battling the flames, with steep terrain making it difficult to access the fire by truck or on foot.
Those access issues are a problem. So CAL FIRE's working on improving roads so we can get equipment in there and build control and containment lines on this fire.
More than 2 million acres of land have burned in the U.S. this year, and we're still a few weeks away from the peak fire season. In Seattle, Dan Springer, Fox News.
And we've got some international weather news as well. Severe flooding in parts of Europe is being blamed for more than 60 deaths and dozens of people going missing. Flooding has swept away cars and caused houses to collapse. All right, coming up on your News at 9 Sports Report, Webb City takes the field for its first game of the Premier Baseball Junior National Tournament. Plus, the Outlaws look to climb out of a slump against the Griffins. Danny Terzer has that and a whole lot more right after this short break.
It's day 2 of the Premier Baseball Junior National Tournament, and Webb City hits the field for their first game. Today, Webb City hosts the Arlington A's Red Team. Tragan Parker gets a base hit out to right. William Hayes scores from second, and Webb City takes an early 1-0 lead. In the 4th, Parker triples to deep right. Webb City brings in another run. Same inning, McQuaid Eilenstein finds the grass in right. That's an RBI single. Cy Darnell comes home. A 4-run inning puts Webb City up 7-1. Parker having a day at the plate. This one carries all the way to the back fence, a 2-run double, and that's the ball game. Webb City rolls by the Arlington A's 9-1. There's less than 2 weeks left of the Outlaws' regular season. Joplin has lost their last 3 in a row, landing them in the bottom of the South Division standings. Today, they host the Nevada Griffins. It's the last matchup between the two teams in the regular season, and Joplin is 0-7 against Nevada. Off to a nice start here tonight, though. Ethan Ellis, a 2-run single. Brett Weimers and Caleb Fearstake score. The Outlaws jump out ahead in the first. Gavin Heltem's in command on the mound tonight. 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. Nevada now with runners on first and second. Ellis makes a nice catch against the back fence to save the Outlaws' lead. Still 2-0, but not for long in the third. 2 outs, bases loaded. Jeb Jenkins puts it deep in left center. Base clearing double. Outlaws up 5-0 now. Still dominating, Joplin leads 8-0 in the 8th. The last major of the year begins today. The Open Championship is being held in Kent, England at the Royal St. George's Golf Club. Louis Oosthuizen is leading after the first round. He shot 6 under today for a 64. Americans Jordan Spieth and Brian Harmon are tied for second. And we'll be right back with more news.
Welcome back. You won't believe your eyes as one space-age device is transforming the future of flying. Fox News' Ashley Strohmeyer has more on the electric jet suit that could change the way wars are fought and the way medical missions are conducted.
Imagine you've gone hiking in the mountains and you fell and broke your leg. It's a scary situation that could prove deadly if help doesn't arrive fast enough, especially with ordinary ambulances unable to scale cliffs. But what if the person coming to save you was able to quickly descend from the sky in a jet suit? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi flick, but it's closer to reality than you think. You're looking at the latest jet suit from Gravity Industries. The company's devices are transforming ordinary people into real-life superheroes like Iron Man. But they're more than just cool, they're practical.
Yeah, so military and search and rescue, I mean, they are new applications, but no, they're very real. We've done enough exercises with both of those groups now in a variety of countries to prove that there's actually a really powerful role for the equipment.
The British Royal Marines and various medical teams have been hard at work testing a version of the suit powered by jet fuel. That suit allows the wearer to travel at speeds up to 80 miles per hour and fly to heights of up to 12,000 feet in the air, letting them go to places traditional rescue vehicles could never reach. But this new groundbreaking addition is completely electric and is in the beginning stages of development.
The electric suit has enough power to run a small street of houses.
The immense amount of battery power needed to operate the electric jet suit means it can only fly for a few seconds. But Gravity Industries says as battery technology gets better, so will their device. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
We'll be right back with more news. All right, here's a fun story to end the show on. A man in Malaysia decided to have a little fun while waiting to get his COVID-19 shot. Last weekend, Kenny Sia showed up to a vaccination center dressed up in a Tyrannosaurus Rex costume. By dressing like a dinosaur, the 39-year-old fitness instructor was able to bring smiles and laughs to other anxious vaccination seekers, as well as busy medical workers. As the coronavirus continues to consume Malaysia, world data shows the country has an increasing vaccination rate nearing one of the fastest in the world. They're giving out more than 400,000 doses a day, according to Malaysia's Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. Hey, well, thanks so much for tuning in on this Thursday evening. We will leave you with some video of some baby wallabies at a Chicago zoo. Pretty cute stuff right there. All right, we will see you tomorrow for more KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Have a great night. Stay safe out there.